Hello and welcome to I See Blinds TV. In this edition I'm going to tell you how to repair a broken chain using a simple joining link. One of the little things that happens when you're using a joining link is that the joiner itself doesn't go through the chain drive, and if I was to connect this joiner onto this chain now, as you can see when the blind goes up, the chain is also going up and therefore the joiner won't go through the chain drive. So what we need to do is we need to reposition this chain so that the joiner is in the right spot, so you get the travel of the full blind, the travel of the blind going from the very top, obviously, to the very bottom of the window. So the way we do that, first and foremost, is we've got to roll the blind up as much as what we can without pulling the chain through. We need to remove the blind from the brackets. And once we've got it in this position, we just simply need to roll the blind up by hand, and therefore that'll get us back to our start position. So it's best if you've got some gloves on, perhaps, or a cloth that you can protect the fabric when you're doing this. So once we've got the blind roll up, we need to pull out the chain drive from inside of the roll tube of the blind. So we'll just put that somewhere where it stays nice and clean. So at this point, I've got the chain drive and I've got the broken chain in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect the chain in to make it a continual loop again. Okay, so I'm just going to go both ends of the chain and hook them into the joiner. Okay, so at this point now I've got my chain is now a continuous loop again, but what I've got to do is position this joiner in the right spot. Now, if your blind is back rolling, like the example that I just showed you was, then the joining link needs to sit, when the blind is in the up position, the joining link needs to sit at the back of the chain, sort of closer to the top, okay? So the way I can move that chain is hold my two fingers on either end of the chain drive just like that. And when I've got it like that, then obviously what I can do now is I can pull the chain through and I can reposition the chain. So I can't hold on to the chain drive like this because it just won't allow me to do that. But if I hold at both ends, then what I can do is position that joining link at the exact right spot, okay? So what I've done now is my chain drive is going to sit like that. I've positioned my joiner closer to the back, near the top of the blind. So what I do now is I grab my blind, and you'll notice on the chain drive that there are a lot of ribs and lines, and you'll also notice inside this tube, as you can see there's a little keyway, okay? So what I need to do is get my smaller section of my chain drive, put that into the keyway, and then slide the chain drive back inside the tube. Why we do that is because we don't want the chain drive to be able to sort of slap sort of left and right. We want the chain drive to fit nice and tight inside the chain, and that's ideally what that keyway is for. Firstly, it gives the chain strength, but it also allows us to fit that. So once that's been positioned correctly, and you can see the blind is coming away, I've got the joining link in this position here. If the blind was front rolling, as in coming off the front of the tube and down, then I'd have my joining link on this side, a little bit below the bottom of the blind. So once that's done, I simply reinstall my blind back into position, and now as my blind is coming down, the joining link actually moves away from the blind, so I can now travel my blind to the full down position, and I can travel my blind back to the full up position. So that's how you fix a chain with a joining link. If you have any questions, please call me on 1300 664 257 or email sales@iseeblinds.com.au. Thank you.